Hello, and today on Texture Review we are reviewing the texture of multi-piece toolbox, and right from the get-go it is very textured and lumple on this part here, and then more smooth and a little bit of lumple dumps going on here, and some lumple dimple dumps there. Very nice. Hinges, a little bit of smooth metal going on in there, and slightly different feeling lumple dumple plastic down there. Yeah, the different colours do feel slightly different. Interesting. Then we have nice smooth metal clipple dipples to keep it closed, and a nice handle to get your hand around. It's nice and smooth but handle shaped for holding on. And the clipple dips do have some lumple dumps in there, so that's very nice. And there's actually a lot of clipple dips, 4 of them. And then there's just sort of lipple dipple grippy dippy bits that the other lipple dipple hooky bits hook onto to keep it closed. And then we'll slip her open, and we have many a tool, many tools. Very nice, and a nice foamy piece there. It's just soft foam to keep everything nice and shiny and protected and not scratching each other up. Not that it really matters too much, because they kind of get scratched up when you use them, but that's okay. And so there's a lot here, and a lot of things will feel the same as other things for the most part. So let's just pick this one. I've got this weird plasticky slippery dippery sleeve on it, and then a nice shiny diny metal there, and that's just metal, and a little bit of a lipple dip in there, and engraved or molded in, I don't know, text that has a bit of texture on the text, and inverted hexagonal lumple dumps inside there. Very nice. That goes back in its hole. Then, lovely spanner. Nice, smooth metal. More inverted, although this is a star pattern rather than hexagonal. But yeah, that's that. And the other side, just a nice square spannery end, getting your nuts off. Same sort of engraved or stamped in text in there, a little lumple dump, smooth and lumple dumple, and a little bit edgy, but kind of rounded edgy. I don't know. That's the wrong way, you idiot. Put that back in there. Grab ourselves a pliers. Yes. And I'll just change the way I'm sitting because it's more comfortable. Or is it? Or I'll just go like that. Yes, that's better. We have pliers, nice plasticky rubberized gripple dipple handle there for you to have a nice grip when you're using them to grab whatever, or I don't know what else you do with pliers, but generally you're grabbing and holding stuff, possibly giving it a yank, and you want a good grip there, and that's just nice and gripple dipple. Sort of bulbousy lumple dump at the ends there, so your hands don't, well, you only need one hand to use it, so your hand doesn't slip off and into whatever you're holding on to. And then we've got lumple dumple serrated gripple dip bits for the whatever object you're holding, and a nice little, not very sharp, but sharp enough bladey bit for cutting wire or whatever else you might need to cut with it. Can go back in there. Nice long extender bar, more smooth metal, nice round cylindrical, and then a big bulbousy end bit with a different textured metal. It's kind of got paint or some sort of coating on there, and a nice bally ball bit in there to grip onto the socket or the extension or whatever you've attached to the end there. We have a bit of a Allen key screw going in there, holding it in place. Very nice, and a nice knurled end, handle end for a bit of grip. It's not all that grippy, but it's grippy enough for what you need it to be. Then we have a wee hole there. I guess if you wanted to hang it off something, with whatever you're doing, so you can have it close at hand or whatever. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. And then right at the end, just a smooth, relatively flat, but also mildly lumple dump end. Very nice. And that can go back in there. No. No. Oh, there we go. No, change my position again, because that's not comfortable now. We'll go this way. Got a ratcheting spanner, a nice big one. Oh. And you can feel the clickle dickle, ratchety shim-dingle-doo when you're spinning that round one way, and then it's the other way where you're actually tightening it, so you tighten in, and that has a similar sort of head for putting your socket or extension or whatever on there. Then a nice button, smooth. Well, actually it's not that smooth, it's got a little bit dinged up because I think one time I did use it as a hammer. Shouldn't be doing that, you should use a real hammer. But yeah, otherwise it's just a flat, smooth button. Little plastic ring around there. Is that plastic? Oh, no, it might be the same metal as this actually. Yeah, it is. And then more of painted metal texture with a lumple dump in the middle there. That's pretty cool. And the main body is, for the most part, just smooth, very smooth, with some lumple dump just at the base and at the top of the handle bit, and then some little grooves there which are very groovy. So that's that. Have a little wee screwdrivery bitty boo there that you can put a socket head on if you want as well, but otherwise you can put the screw head thing in and then put one of the screw bitties in and do your screwing. And more of the same smooth metal, and then the lumple dump sort of squared head, and then a squared off handle that is just a finely lumple dumple textured plastic there. And at the bottom we have an inverted square drive that you can actually put a small ratchet on if you need extra torque, which sometimes you might need, but most often you shouldn't. And if you do need it, then maybe it's actually just easier just to use a ratchet. Then we'll just pick a socket, any socket, doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter because these ones are just smooth cylinders with a little dimple bit there, and that's just dimply and bitty, and then a hexagonal head, nice, and square drive in the base, very nice. And then here we have a more a star pattern, or a 12 point star, whatever, nice big smooth socket. Not a whole lot else to say about that really. And then we have these ones, which we get a little bit more lumple dump going in there for your drive. That's bigger than the hex head, so that's a little bit more texture on that one. We have this little bit here. You can put your screw heads, screwdriver heads into that, and then use a ratchet on the other end, or you could even put it in a drill and whatever. But the sticky outy hexagonal end is a bit of maybe a mild steel or something. It's rusty a little bit. There's a little bit of rusty, scrongly rust texture on there, nice scrongly, and then hexagonal lumple bumples with a little dimple bit, nice smoothy dimple bit in there, and then a nice smooth cylinder, very nice. And the end we have a chamfered end with just a smooth top or bottom, depending on what you feel like calling the top at the time. Then well, I guess the texture of these screwdriver heads is different depending on what drive you're picking, but your Phillips and stuff is just a crossy dossy, pointy dointy lumple dump. Then your flatheads are a flat, maybe pointy on the edges, and they've got a little bit of a lumple dump ramp going down to the base. With all of them have a hexagonal lumple dump textured base on there, and the star pattern, or torques, they're a bit of a lumple dump star. Same sort of deal with the base, lumple dump star. Then we do have some Allen head ones, which are just hexagonal heads, and otherwise much the same. And yeah, and the plastic casing sort of keeping them all orderly and together. It's just a nice smooth, mildly lumple dump between the different heads, mildly lumple dump, and then sort of mold line around the base makes it a little bit edgy, and otherwise, yeah, just mildly lumple bump, relatively smooth. Then the printed images and numbers are a bit smoother, a little bit more smooth. That's pretty cool. That's some nice texture in there. And Allen keys and a nice Allen key holder. These are just very, very smooth metal, very, very smooth, and hexagonal and smooth, flat, smooth, bendy, bit smoothly bendy, chamfered end and a very flat tip. Both ends are the same. And the actual plastic holdery thing is a bit smoother of a plastic than those ones. Quite nice, actually, quite nice and smooth and slippery dipple. And then we've got little sticky outy lumple dump thing there for hanging it on stuff again, I guess. And then this sort of just hex head moulded in, but that adds more lumple dump. That pretty much covers everything. We'll go these ones here. They just have a little hexagonal end, and then a just bulbousy, smooth, inverted hexagonal other end. Which again, you can put this in a drill, and then you don't have to use your wrist power to turn whatever you're doing up or undoing. So that's quite handy for saving your wristies. Universal joint. These are great. I like these. They help you get in spots that you can't otherwise get in. And they're just more of the same sort of metal, smoothie, cylindrical, whatever, hex drive, inverted hex, not hex, square drive, it's square, and then the other end of the square, and then screws, Allen head screws holding it in, just standard sort of Allen head screws. And yeah, you can actually play around with this if you want to. It's mildly entertaining, but we'll put that back now. And yeah, I guess that does now cover all of that. So if you like the video, perhaps share it with your friends, subscribe if you hasn't, and if you feel like it, you can hop on the Discord and see what's going on there, which there's still not really all that much, but you know, it's only going to grow bigger if you guys want it to. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.